Yo, welcome everybody. It is, as you can see, a sweaty evening here in swampy New England. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's Monday night. It does sound a lot like that Robin S. song, but it doesn't get claimed. So this is by Mopodna, M-O-P-O-D-N-A. He is linked in the bio. So shout out Mopodna for the new music for my channel. I appreciate it so much. Hi everyone. Do I look really dark? Is it dark in here? Do I need to turn up the light a little bit? How are we feeling? Hey, what's up, Witchy?
WXTCH gave $1.99.
Let's see what it says.
Woo Kate W.
Woo Kate W. Definitely a remix. Good evening, Kate. What's been going on with you today? Oh, well, you know, I had my day job and then I watched H3 and I had dinner with my wife. And then I got sucked into the current YouTube drama, or not YouTube drama, Twitter drama about a pretty popular leftist personality who I'd never heard of being a creep, allegedly, by multiple women. So, yeah, that's going to be one of the focuses tonight for sure. But we've got a bunch of things to talk about. Obviously, we'll touch on the show a little bit. There wasn't like a ton of super exciting things to pull. Just a couple little things that I wanted to add a little pin to, for sure. Hasan's friend, yes. The penis showing guy I have never heard of, correct. I try to avoid men who just show people their penises without being asked. Ooh, cinnamon bagels. I love a cinnamon bagel. Thanks for shouting out my edit yesterday. Oh my goodness.
Canine Rescue Thought gave $10.
Canine Rescue Thought.
Out my edit yesterday. I'm glad that you resonated with it. Smiley
oh my
face
gosh.
emoji.
Thank you for making that edit. I was, as you probably saw, just crying about it. So thank you for making that. Oh, yeah, I was very emotional about that. So here we are. Okay, so tonight we are going to, like I said, check in on today's show, talk about some big developments in Snark subreddit that they didn't touch on the show. I thought that they might. So we'll talk about that before it gets too stale. We're going to do a fun little quiz to talk about feminism and see what kind of feminists we all are. And then, we're going to talk about leftist men being creeps. So it should be a fun night for the cis men in the audience. Buckle up. I'll have a disclaimer about it later, but for now, we're good. Okay, so let's first talk about our YouTube drama. Have y'all seen this? I saw it on the subby, and so I wanted to talk about it because it seems like at least one of the big subreddits that has been taken over by H3 snarkers is now changing course, which we love, right? They're going back to like general content and not just hyper fixating on trying to ruin Ethan and Neela's lives. This is a girly app that is maybe not as as male friendly as the girly apps on H3. Okay, so let's read this because then there's also an edit. They edited this afterwards. So let's see what we have to say here. Hey, Alex. As of today, this was posted and pinned, I believe, on YouTube drama. It says least popular mod is their flag. I'm hoping that that's just like ironic. As of today, we are banning snark and snark-related posts. This may sound arbitrary, but I think people are well aware of what constitutes valid, fair criticism and what constitutes snark. Once upon a time, through past leadership, okay, so there's been a changing of the guard. This sub most definitely behaved as a snark sub. We, as the mod team, do actually, despite snark, I think there's a word missing there, and work to have this sub be a space of discussing drama with proper criticism and outcomes. We have taken firmer stances to pull away from our past image. So yeah, these are new people coming on board. And be a place where people can have proper discourse. Snark discourse, cat, Jesus Lord. Snark discourse has only ever brought conflict to this sub. Agree. People insult each other over nothing. People have gotten death threats. People get reported for suicidal ideation just because they disagree. Definitely happened to me. Little kitten, I will end you. There has been ableism, racism, prejudice of all kinds around these topics. Anti-Semitism. Ultimately, snark behavior never allows any proper discussion. I love this. We have had to ban 2 creators just because the people who come to this sub cannot behave when discussing them. Now, I'm assuming it's Hasan and Ethan, maybe? But YouTube Drama is one of those subs that, I mean, I tried to post on there months ago and was automatically banned, and then reached out and was like, why did this happen? And they were like, it's not your fault, it's Ethan's fault. We told, you know what I mean? Like, so I don't know if this is really new leadership or what. And I also don't know if we're all going to get unbanned all of a sudden. It doesn't seem like that's going to happen, right? Snark is not very different from Kiwi Farms at this stage with the harm it has done to content creators. Totally agree with that. We have seen the harm Snark has done as well. Save a Fox being a prime example. That was the woman who died by suicide. And that some people blame her Snark subreddit. Our most popular post right now is pure snark. I wonder what the most popular post is. Let's find out. Why do I have Bill Clinton? YouTube Drama. Why is there an error? What does that mean? I don't know. I don't know. Okay, anyway. We'll look at that later. Snark is not very different from Kiwi Farms. We have seen the harm Snark has done as well. Save a Fox being a prime example. Our most popular post, we read that, and it superseded actual important events because of who was following who on IG. Going forward, we'll no longer be allowing posts like this on the sub. It provided no context, no real criticism. Okay, I'm guessing they got rid of it. And it didn't prove anything either. This may prove unpopular, but it is something we feel strongly about for the health of this sub and the people on it to remove ourselves. You can check the rule along the sidebar. If you want a YouTube snark, go make one. This one is not it. Have a good one. Wow. I mean, I love the message here, right? I love the tone of that and the general vibe. Let me see if we can find out one sec, guys. Let me just, I want to see if we can find out what the top post is on that. Now it's making me fucking verify myself. 190. Okay. Perfection. Let's see. I saw the Bill Clinton photo. Oh, my keyboard? Yeah, it's like an Amazon keyboard, but I'm obsessed with it. I love it so much. I don't have that image up. It came up. It came up in my feed apparently, on the subreddit. I think it might have been the news feed or something. I don't know. And it seems like it's everywhere. A lot of people are using it. All right, let's see here. Our YouTube drama. Okay. Okay, so it's still pinned. Lots of upvotes. We love that. We'll upvote it. Okay. I mean, the initial posts that I saw, I mean, there was 0, right? It's just like 0. So I was like, oh shit, this is going to be bad. But no. All right, sweet. So there's that. But that wasn't the end of it, because apparently there was an edit to this post. So let's look at this, and it looks like they may have added something that directly / indirectly implicates Ethan in being the problem of the subreddit. So let's see. I'm just going to zoom it and see where they added something. We have had to ban 2 creators. I thought it might be there. We have seen the harm snark is done. Save a fox. Pure snark. Edit. Okay. I guess they just did the edit down here. Apparently some YouTubers have weighed in. Nah, this has nothing to do with the usual suspects. Oh, okay. This is purely to stop toxic behavior and negativity. If you think otherwise, I urge you to get out of your computer chair, touch grass, instead of making Nurgle proud. I don't know what the hell Nurgle is. I don't know what that means. But then in here it says that there's talking about who is Goblin Man. But I don't see mention of Goblin Man. Do you guys see it? So there must be like another edit that they got rid of that had them talking about some Goblin Man. Asmongold is Goblin Man. Okay. Yeah, it's hard to know, right? There's so many internet goblins these days. It's hard to know who they meant there. So, I mean, I definitely support this new / old avenue for YouTube drama, since until only recently, they were just like a normal YouTube drama outlet. It was not completely focused on an obsessive attacks and harassment of Ethan and Ela. So I'm happy to see that, and I hope that it stays that way, and I hope that people get unbanned so people can participate again, you know? All right, so there's that. That's just a little thing, and I mean that feels like a big deal. I'm assuming that a piece of that is because of everything that Ethan is doing to, you know, subpoena Reddit moderators with the support of Denham's lawyer. You know? Yeah, the world is healing. And here's the thing, like, if they had just stopped being like this, right? If they had stopped being insane. What's wrong? The cats are attacking both of us. It's the witching hour. If they had just stopped being weird and stopped being snarky, like, Ethan wouldn't have gone after the mods. Like, if they hadn't created this environment that enables so much harassment and bad behavior, none of this would have happened. No one would have needed to be sued. The law would have not needed to be involved. Would not have needed to be involved. Right? So it sucks that this is the only way you guys will learn, right? And you can't just be grown-ups and not be fucking weird. That is a bummer for you, but here we are. So if that's what it takes, then I guess that's what it takes. Alexa Nicholas in chat, friends. Hi, Alexa. Oh, I wanted to tell people that Alexa is going to be, hopefully, coming to chat at some point soon, because she has some things in the works. And I won't say more than that. You might have seen her posts on Twitter, but I won't speak out of turn. Alexa, obviously, you're welcome to share whatever you'd like in the comments. But yeah, once things are final and you want to come chat, or anytime, you let me know, girly. And you are just in time to learn what kind of feminist you are, because we are going to be talking a lot about the patriarchy this evening, and there will be a lot of general feminism and women's studies content coming out of my face. So I thought it would be helpful to level set and to have all of us take a test together. This is a fun one. This is not like a quiz, a pop quiz. This is a what kind of feminist are you quiz. It is the interactive version of the feminist perspective scale. We have references here. Oh, we have other scales here. We could do other tests like this. I love this shit. When I was in middle school, That was when the Spark was big. Do you guys remember the Spark? Anyone old enough to remember the Spark? And like, it was back when like OkCupid was not a dating site. It was like all quizzes and stuff. Do y'all remember that? Do y'all remember when OkCupid was like fun quizzes and shit? My friends and I spent so many hours on there. There was like OkCupid, the Spark, and then it turned into Spark Notes. You know, it was like a whole thing, right? So I've always just loved doing quizzes, like so much. 33, I don't know. Let me see when that happened. Let me just look it up. OkCupid, it was called OkCupid, right? Quiz site. From an online quiz site to a hot, radically inclusive dating app. Do they have like old pictures of it? I'm gonna lose my shit. I mean, I guess it makes sense. They were doing all kinds of like quizzes and then they turned into an app where they're literally just like sorting your personality, right? OkCupid, what the fuck was it? And it was like the Spark, right? Ambitious student project to... I just want a picture of like the interface. That's all I want. The Spark, thank you. Let's try the Spark first. Maybe that was like the real name of it first. The Spark quizzes. TheSpark.com, yeah. Archive.org. Did they put it up? Hang on. Oh my God, look how fucking foggy my glasses are. I'm getting so excited about this. Oh my God. Okay, look. Oh my God, was it really this bad? Holy shit. The Spark, look at all the personality tests. Do these work? The slut test. Yeah, they don't work. Oh my God. And this is where Spark Notes started. Pimpin' Cupid. Yeah, so like Cupid was in here. Pimpin' Cupid, that's weird. Pimpin' Cupid is one of the fastest growing web toys on the internet with all the sexual frustration in the world. It's our only cure for lust and love. What the fuck? I don't even know what that was. What year is this from? Does it say? This is 2001, 2002. Yeah, this is like literally when I was on here. Oh my God. The internet like burning. This is crazy. Yeah. So there were all kinds of tests. So and also like in magazines, they would have the different tests. So I've always loved doing them. And I think that the more like scientific ones are actually kind of helpful. So I'm going to put the link in the chitty chat and I will pin it to the top. Yeah, so it started as the Spark, and then it was like all quizzes and things like that. And then from there, they did the Spark Notes. So like, you know, it kind of kept students on there. Pin message. You weren't doing the slut quiz? I wasn't much older than 7, but I was doing the slut quiz. Oh, Quizilla was good too. All right, so I'm gonna start the quiz if y'all want to open it. It says the test consists of 60 statements that must be rated by how you view them on a scale of 1 to 5, from disagree to agree. Each item should be responded to quickly without overthinking, and the test should take most people not more than 6 minutes. So let's all find out what kind of feminists we are, and then we can put the results in our AIM bios. Oh wait, let's read this. The Feminist Perspective Scale was developed by Nancy M. Henley and colleagues in 1998. Measures 5 types of feminism that they thought have been typically distinguished from one another in the study of feminism in the United States. Now, of course, this was almost 30 years ago, so it might fall short of things, but let's find out. Let's just see historically what kind of feminists we are. Answer for yourselves, but I'll do mine out loud. Given the way that men are, Women have a responsibility not to arouse them by their dress and actions. Disagree. Fuck that. Pornography exploits female sexuality and degrades all women. I think a lot of it does, but I think that things have kind of changed on that. So I'm gonna say I'm neutral on that, because I think women have gained a lot of autonomy, and there is like good porn out there now. And like through OnlyFans and stuff, they've also sort of gained the access to the means of production, right? In education and legislation to stop rape, ethnicity and race must be treated sensitively to ensure that women of color are protected equally. Hell fucking yes. Women should not be direct participants in government because they are too emotional. Disagree. Whether one chooses a tradition or alternative family form should be a matter of personal choice. Agree. People should define their marriage and family roles in ways that make them feel most comfortable. Absolutely. The government is responsible for making sure that all women receive an equal chance at education and employment.
You've got mail.
Kabu gave $1.99. Not us being on Cat 10 Barge's Pawpaw's website.
Her Pawpaw's website. Oh my God. The government is responsible for making sure all women receive an equal chance at education and employment. I mean, I think that they have a responsibility. Sure. Racism and sexism make double the oppression of women in the work environment. Absolutely. It's called intersectionality. Prostitution grows out of the male culture of violence and male values of social control. I would agree with that for the most part. And I mean, now we call it sex work, right? And I think the sex work they are talking about is, you know, women being trafficked. I'm assuming here, right? Because it's pretty general. Capitalism and sexism are primarily responsible for the increased divorce rate and general breakdown of families. I mean, sexism definitely is. I guess capitalism is too. I'll agree with that. Replacing the word God with goddess will remind people that the deity is not male. I don't care about that at all. I just don't care about that. Oh, Tasty Cakes, we are finding out what kind of feminists we are. If you want to click on the link that is pinned at the top. Women of color have less legal and social service protection from being battered than white women have. Probably true, because, I mean, white women in general are more protected, right, across the board. A man's first responsibility is to obtain economic success while his wife should care for the family's needs. Disagree. Do whatever you want. That doesn't have to be anyone's first responsibility. Men should follow women's lead in religious matters because women have a higher regard for peace than men. I don't think that's true inherently, that we're more peaceful. I mean, you just could have stopped here. Men should follow women's lead, period. I was in until the rest of it, so I'm gonna go neutral on that. Using man to mean both men and women is one of the ways sexist language destroys women's existence. Clearly there's a form of feminism that's really about semantics. I mean, I don't like it, so I guess I like slightly agree. Sex role stereotypes are only one symptom of the larger system of patriarchal power, which is the true source of women's subordination, 100%. Homosexuals need to be rehabilitated into normal members of society. Absolutely agree. I can't believe that's a part of feminism. Like, there's a version of feminism that talks like that. The workplace is organized around men's physical, economic, and sexual oppression of women. Absolutely. Absolutely. Men's control over women forces women to be the primary caretakers of children. Yes. Making women economically dependent on men is capitalism's subtle way of encouraging heterosexual relationships. I don't know if I believe that that is the motive. I think it's just about subjugating women in general. But I'm going to say slightly agree because I think they're kind of going for the same thing. Women of color are oppressed by white standards of beauty. Absolutely. The availability of adequate childcare is central to a woman's right to work outside the home, 100%. The breakdown of the traditional family structure is responsible for the evils in our society. False. What comes first, capitalism or patriarchy? Well, there were men and women before there was money, right? Yeah, the people that are really bothered about God and goddess definitely spell women with a Y. That's like so like second wave. Homosexuality is not a moral issue, but rather a question of liberty and freedom of expression. I hate the way that that is phrased, because I do think it's a moral issue in that, like, it's moral to just love each other and leave each other alone. I don't know. I'm going to go neutral on that. I don't love that. Yeah, I feel like it's both. A socialist restructuring of business and institutions is necessary for women and people of color to assume equal leadership with white men. I mean, yeah, let's fucking go. Let's do that. Being put on a pedestal, which white women have protested, is a luxury that women of color have not had. Absolutely. All the systems are set up to protect white women first. Social change for sexual equality will best come about by acting through federal, state, and local government. I mean, I don't see a better way to do it. Like, what is the other option? Putting women in positions of political power would bring about new systems of government that promote peace. Again, I don't think women are inherently more peaceful. Like, that doesn't make that just seems like another stereotype to me. Men use abortion laws and reproductive technology to control women's lives. Abso-fucking-lutely. Traditional notions of romantic love should be replaced with ideas based on feminine values of kindness and concern for all people. Again, it's like this: women are these beautiful peace lovers, and you know they do nothing wrong. It's like that's not helpful. That's just more othering. Yeah, it depends on the women. Okay, next one, and this is the last page. Romantic love supports capitalism by influencing women to place men's emotional and economic needs first. I mean, heterosexual, maybe. I'm going to say neutral on that. But this is kind of being like, no one should have a romantic love. Like, it's unfeminist to be in love. With a man, maybe I agree with that. By not using sexist and violent language, we can encourage peaceful social change. I mean, I'll slightly agree. Again, this is like the semantics people, right? I honestly voted agree on that one only because, in my opinion, women are smarter to value peace more, considering current men-led politics. Yeah, it's a tough one, right? It's a tough one. We're kind of assuming that women would be better, but we haven't had the same amount of women to judge it against. Legislation is the best means to ensure a woman's choice of whether or not to have an abortion. Yeah, I guess so. But, like, I don't know what the other option would be, but we've already seen that legislation doesn't really hold. So I don't know. I don't know what the other option is. Men prevent women from becoming political leaders through their control of economic and political institutions. Absolutely. Beauty is feeling one's womanhood through peace, caring, and nonviolence. Who are these people? I'm sorry, that might be some of you. I don't want to judge. Feeling your womanhood. You just know those people are TERFs. The most wonderful thing about me is my vagina. It is a man's right and duty to maintain order in his family by whatever means necessary. Jesus Christ. Women's experience in life's realities of cleaning, feeding people, caring for babies, etc. makes their vision of reality clearer than men's. I don't, whatever this is, I don't jive with whatever this is. The world is a more attractive place because women pay attention to their appearance and smiles. Barf. The way to eliminate sex work is to make women economically equal to men. I don't think we're ever going to get rid of sex work. Maybe the way to eliminate, like, trafficking. And, you know, being forced to go into sex work. But I don't think we need to get rid of it altogether. It serves a very important purpose. Anti-gay and racist prejudice act together to make it more difficult for gay, male, and lesbian people of color to maintain relationships. Sure, absolutely. It's the 90s. They weren't even talking about trans people, I'm sure. Capitalism hinders a poor woman's chance to obtain adequate prenatal medical care or an abortion. 100%. Look up care deserts if you're interested in that. Millions of women in America are already living in one. Specifically, maternal health deserts. Women should try to influence legislation in order to gain the right to make their own decisions and choices. Again, yes, I mean, we should try to do everything we can, including trying to influence legislation. In rape programs and workshops, not enough attention has been given to the special needs of women of color. I am sure that that's true. Rape is best stopped by replacing the current male-oriented culture of violence with an alternative culture based on more gentle, womanly qualities. Like, you had me until you make it about the fact that men are violent and women are not. Like, it is a capitalist system which forces women to be responsible for childcare, 100%. Marriage is a perfect example of men's physical, economic, and sexual oppression of women. Yeah, I will say that. Heterosexual marriage. But back then, gay people couldn't get married, so. Womanly qualities, yeah, what is that? I am a traditional woman. You do have that in your audience, if that matters at all to how you frame your responses. Oh, thank you, Pandemonium. Is that what that one is, about like women are peaceful and men are not? Is that what it's called? We'll find out. Women should not be assertive like men because men are the natural leaders on earth. Fucking barf. I hope not. Romantic love brainwashes women and forms the basis of their subordination. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say slightly agree because I know they're talking about romantic heterosexual love. And deep down, I do believe that a little tiny bit. I do believe that a little tiny bit, okay? Discrimination in the workplace is worse for women of color than for all men and white women, absolutely. Bringing more women into male-dominated professions would make the professions less cutthroat and competitive. I don't know if that's true. Much of the talk about power for women overlooks the need to empower people of all races and colors first. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, women of color have always been relegated to the sidelines, just like lesbians in like feminist movements. Women should have the freedom to sell their sexual services. Absolutely. Using he for he and she, what? He for he and she is convenient and harmless to men and women. I mean, I don't think it's harmless, but I don't think it's like a problem. I only see old people doing that. All religion is like a drug to people and is used to pacify women and other oppressed groups. Absolutely. The opioid of the masses, as they say. Rape is ultimately a powerful tool that keeps women in their place, subservient and terrorized by men. Yeah, I agree. I think that's a full agree. Capitalism forces most women to wear feminine clothes to keep a job. I don't know if it's capitalism. It feels more like misogyny, but maybe here it's like saying it's both. The tradition of Afro-American women who are strong family leaders has strengthened the Afro-American community as a whole. I can't really speak to that, but I doubt that it's like not done that, having strong women around. So I'm going to say, yeah, I'm sure that it has. The personalities and behaviors of women and men in our society have developed to fit the needs of advanced capitalism. Absolutely. And now we're in end stage capitalism, which we love. Heterosexuality is the only natural sexual preference. It isn't. Thank God. Men need to be liberated from oppressive sexual stereotypes as much as women do. Maybe even more so, I'd say. Okay, did everyone put theirs in? Liberal feminists / women of color. All right, let's see. Yeah, reminder that this quiz is from like 1998, guys. Oh. Can we talk about this for a second? When it says gender and then it's male or female, these are sexes, not genders. I am so annoyed that that is still happening. Your answer's accurate and can they be used in research? Sure. Sure. Feminist perspective. All right, so radical feminists, let's fucking go. And women of color. I think that's like womanist, maybe? Women of color kind of get forced into being strong, yeah. And that's a stereotype too, right? Very old quiz, yeah. And the thing is, like, a lot of radical feminists by this quiz are turfy. as hell. Radical lesbian feminism. This is me. Political lesbianism. I've never heard that before, but I fucking love it. Lesbianism as an act of resistance against the political institution of heterosexuality, which they view as violent and oppressive towards women. Hell yeah! But the problem is, I can't shout these people out because it is very likely that they are transphobic. Oh my God, animals jumping around. Okay, some have supported them and some are psychotic. Great. So yeah, I guess I'm a radical feminist who supports women of color. So I love that. Where are my rad femmes at? Where are my rad femmes? Lots of live femmes. Love that. The quiz says I am an H3 snarker. The quiz says I am being paid by Ethan. I got that one today. The quiz is old, but it does show we haven't come far enough as a society because some of these questions are still very relevant. Yeah, for sure. For sure. 14 on conservative. What did I get? What did I get? I got 12 on conservative, 22 on cultural feminist, 41 on socialist feminist. I didn't even know that was a thing. Socialist feminism, I think that this is probably about where I jive. Two-pronged theory. I want to read more about this. Socialist feminists reject radical feminism's main claim that the patriarchy is the only or primary source of oppression of women. Rather, socialist feminists assert that women are oppressed due to their financial dependence on males. Women are subjects to male domination within capitalism due to an uneven balance of wealth. Okay, so it's more about the economics and not just about, like, the patriarchy. Further, socialist feminists see women's liberation as a necessary part of a larger quest for social, economic, and political justice. Socialist feminists attempt to integrate the fight for women's liberation with the struggle against other oppressive systems based on race, class, sexual orientation, or economic status. Okay, I like that. Socialist feminism. I gotta look more into that one. That's cool. 12 on conservative. Get out. I'm just kidding. We both got the same thing. Oh, Rachel, you can go back and take it. It's super quick. I can't believe the classification for a radical feminist is being someone who doesn't want to live in a society where there's male supremacy. Is that right? I guess so. I mean, there's obviously a lot of different varieties here. Now, how does liberal feminism is mainstream feminism. Focus on achieving gender equality through political and legal reform. Ah, okay. So liberal feminism is more like working within the confines of the system. And radical feminism is about the reordering of society. But it doesn't, as usual, doesn't really explain how to do that. Right? Which is our, as a radical feminist, that is a continuing problem for us. Radicals in general. We want to reorder society, but we don't really talk about a way forward. So, I mean, that's why when I was clicking, like, the best way to do this is through legal proceedings and, you know, legislation. It's like, what other choice is there right now? You know? So that was fun. We should do more quizzes in the future for sure. I love that shit. Okay, let's talk about the show very shortly. I mean, I don't have a ton. I like watched the show and I enjoyed it, but there wasn't a ton of stuff for me to pull out. I think because a lot of the topics is stuff that I'm just like I don't care about the astronomer thing. I'm very sad about Ethan's thumb. I'm so sorry. The new musicians are not much to talk about. Dog Talk, man. Tim Pool, I don't care about him. The T-app thing. The T-app thing to me is like, you know, within the whole discussion of feminism, it's just, let's do feminism 101. It's just sort of clarifying or validating the idea that men just want to be able to do whatever they want, and instead of holding other men accountable for bad behavior, they want to destroy women's ability to talk about that bad behavior. right? Even if they are not the ones committing that bad behavior. They want, in the future, to be able to do it. So they're going to try and ruin those systems. I think it gets confusing when people say work through the law, because in the end, the people themselves come together to vote for these bills and such. So shouldn't protesting be a natural step to that? Yeah, like that's what I consider it. Phase and Jubilee were especially uninteresting, for sure. I have one thing about the Jubilee thing, but again, like that, like, we'll get to that. But for now, let's just, there was just this one little moment that kind of piggybacks on what we were talking about last time with AB. You know, I don't want to harp on it, but I thought this was interesting. And this is the kind of stuff that he just says, and then he gets shit for things, and like he just kind of draws too much attention to himself, in my opinion. So this is what he said during the Jubilee segment. Wonder if y'all caught this.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Here's the thing. I make jokes. You don't get them.
I don't hear them. And by the way, you don't think I didn't notice you covered your mouth again?
Oh.
I can't even.
He moved his monitor back up. I thought he meant like he'd put a mask back on, because he's had a mask for a few days. But no, he moved his monitor back up so Ethan can't see his face.
See, he lifted his monitor. So
Got caught.
I was one.
All right, so here is this the monitor that must get in the way? He must have just brought it up enough to like cover like half of his face.
Wondering if you would notice.
He did. Yeah, why'd you do that? Because you like to clown. You like to see me fucking sweat over there.
I don't know. Sometimes you be saying stuff and look over here, and I just feel bad I'm not participating, so I just kind of want to just, drop down a little bit.
Right. Yeah.
Sometimes when Ethan's saying stuff, and AB feels bad that he's not participating. So that would be like, those very long silences when Ethan is talking about Hasan and Ian, and it's not just AB, right? Like Olivia rarely talks during those segments, and I mean, yeah, if they don't want to participate, that's fine. But man, when it was like really at the peak of these beefs, it was hard to hear like all of that silence, right? Yeah, it's not worth it to them, and I totally understand that, but like from a listener's point of view, uncomfortable to have them like not saying anything. The silence was loud. Yeah, like the only support he was really getting, he would get some from Nate, he would get some from Zach, and like rarely Dan would say something. I mean, Dan often was at least talking, right, and sort of he would push back on him and correct him the way Dan does, right, which is great. Our silence means something. Yeah, exactly. I assumed that they just like got up and left and like went and got like a coffee and a snack in the kitchen or something during those moments, I'm still annoyed AB wished Hasan a happy birthday a couple episodes ago. I didn't hear that. What? Yeah, they're afraid of snark. They don't want to get caught in the middle, and I totally understand it. Speaking just...
You've got mail.
Oh, thank you, MK.
$10.
Thank you so much. Oh yeah, if I hit 10 super chats, I'll give you another little story time. At least on the anti-Semitism stuff, it feels weird, but I get it. Yeah, exactly. Like, two things are true, right? I totally understand why they're quiet, and also as a listener, that was hard, right? Because Ethan riffs off people. Yeah, when Hila's there, it's a lot less awkward, for sure. He wished him happy birthday on not on H3 show, on his own stream. On H3, that's wild. Yeah, he seemed so alone, and he always like just instinctively checks to like see how people are receiving things and like to go off of them, but ugh. It was the end of Friday stream. Yeah, I was a passing comment. Okay. He was trying to do a bit, but it didn't really work. Yeah, that tends to happen with the Hasan and Ian stuff. He tries a lot of bits and they don't always work out. Because I think Ethan takes it seriously, right? Like, this isn't a joke to him. On the other hand, as someone on the spectrum, I genuinely go nonverbal when people are on a roll and ranting, regardless of whether I agree on the topic or not. That's valid. But like someone said, they're so active and verbal on other things that, yeah, it made their silence very loud on those issues. And it seems like we're moving past that and people are talking a little bit more when things happen, but we'll see. We shall see. Okay, so that was just like the one little moment that I caught. And then the other thing was about the Jubilee shit. And first of all, let me just say, we're going back into Feminism 101. I hate the format of Jubilee. I think I saw somewhere that someone said that it was like a right-wing account or whatever. That totally makes sense to me. But in general, like, I hate the debate space. I hate shit like this. It is so toxically male to me in so many ways, right? Like, it just has a terrible vibe. There's a terrible vibe. It's about arguing and about like posturing and getting one over on someone else. It's not about communication. It's about winning. And I just think that is so unproductive. It's entertaining for people because people like to watch others fight about things, but anybody who is participating in it or coming up out of it, I do not trust them. I don't trust people that focus on debating other, like, men whose sole focus is debating other men online. That's their activism. I don't trust that. I don't trust it at all. But here is the guy that says he was fired for his political beliefs. This says that he was actually laid off in January. I don't know how true that is, but apparently I've seen multiple posts saying that this guy was actually laid off in January and was not fired for his political beliefs. Also, being a fascist is not just a political belief, bro. Growing up with my parents constantly fighting, why do people enjoy arguments? Yeah, for real. Most kinds of debates are kind of unproductive for convincing people of your point or listening to other points. Yeah, it's just all, yeah, it just all feels very like toxic and machismo bullshit. For sure. But of course, this guy raised a bunch of money on Give, Send, Go. I already knew that's where he did it before I even looked. This is the site where the white woman that called a young black child the N-word was able to raise a buttload of money. So, I mean, I really want to look further into Give, Send, Go and what the fuck their deal is, because the neo-Nazis love raising money on Give, Send, Go because they can't on GoFundMe. They get kicked off. So that's of interest to me if I ever have time to do something like that. Yeah, Give, Send, Go is like the alternative to GoFundMe, and people go there when their cause is not supported or not considered valid by GoFundMe. This fuckface got $30K for being a piece of shit. I think it's more now. I think they said it was up to $40K today. So yeah, it's terrible. It is fucking terrible. Yeah, and then we have Frogan stuff. I mean, we did a whole video about Frogan, and it turns out that she is dodging. She is dodging being served. It's not just an accident. It's not... apparently the woman that they gave that to could not be a substitute for her, so she really is dodging being served, and it's really stupid. And she's blown her chance at getting out of this unscathed, right? Like Ethan said, he was like, that window is closed. Like, you have squandered your chance. So that sucks for her. I don't know who has been giving her advice, but they did not steer her right, in my opinion. All right, let's go back into here. Feminism 101. Actually, let's go lesbian tangent. This is not just feminism. This is about to be a long lesbian tangent. And so here's the one disclaimer I'm going to give you before this ride starts. I'm going to tell you right now that, fellas, you might think you can handle what I'm about to say about men, right? Because you might agree with a lot of it, right? You might think that all this stuff is messed up. But as we just found out, I'm a radical feminist, and I am also a lesbian. And the way that radical lesbians talk about men is often not for the faint of heart. Obviously, I'm going to be cool, but I also am so removed from like regular discussions with men that I'm not entirely sure what is going to upset you guys. You know? Because sometimes I say things and guys are like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, I already today had someone be like, are you like anti-men? And I was like, kinda. Like, that doesn't bother me. Wait, you're a lesbian since when? So yeah, that's my one disclaimer. And I hate having to do a disclaimer, but here it is. If my generalizations about men that I'm about to make are not applicable to you, if you are not a man who moves in that way, who acts that way, then it shouldn't offend you. What I say, my generalization should not offend you. If you find yourself, upon hearing these things, feeling offended, that's for one of two reasons. You are like one of these men, or you still have a lot of internalized patriarchy that you need to unpack. Because if your knee-jerk reaction when a woman talks about men and the patriarchy is to get defensive and to defend a bunch of men you've never met, just because you share a gender and you feel the need to like defend your gender, that is thin blue line behavior. That's like what cops do, right? Instead of calling out a cop who is doing things wrong, they all go shoulder to shoulder and close ranks. So then all of them look like shit. The other option is to, instead of having the knee-jerk defensiveness, it's to listen. To listen and side with women because we're cool. Side with the people who have been hurt. And don't feel an unnatural affinity to people just because they also have a ding dong. Gender defender. Just like we don't call Ethan a misogynist for suing women. Exactly. I love it. Mods, do your worst if you need to. But yeah, so I will say, like, I say this speaking from experience, because when I first got into the political space, right? And I was like engaging with people on the internet about politics. I had some unlearning to do when it came to race. Specifically, when black women in my spaces would talk about white women as a whole and white women's behavior and the way white women do this and that. My initial thing was like, but I'm not like that. And how dare you, lump us all together, right? But when I was doing that, I was centering my own feelings instead of listening to what people were saying, right? I was making it about me and essentially proving their point. So I had to learn that if I am really doing the work and I'm working on myself and unpacking my own internalized white supremacy, then when a black woman says white women are like this, I am confident knowing that I'm either not like that or I'm working to not be like that. And so I don't take it personally. Okay? Being white has been confronting, yeah. I'm glad I'm not a man. Same. So that's okay. So that's our tangent, the start of our tangent. That's our disclaimer. I encourage you to use this as a test space, men. So when you hear me say things like men are trash, not that I'm necessarily going to say that, but when you hear me say something that might put you on defense and want to explain yourself or men in general, just don't. Because that first instinct might not even be you. It might be the patriarchy. It might be the white supremacy, right? That stuff is like so deeply ingrained. So just give that first knee-jerk reaction like a second and see what comes out next after you've actually listened to what someone is saying. And we're going to be nice to each other in chat because everyone's coming to this from a different place and at a different stage in their consciousness about these things, right? So if anyone is, you know, being shitty, but they see Alex, but they seem to be doing it unintentionally, just be cool, okay? Be nice. Explain things if you'd like to, or just, you know, just ignore them. All right, so today I learned about someone named LOLOverruled, who is apparently a friend of Hasan's. I don't know anything about this guy. I did find out, though, that where is it? I did find his LinkedIn. Oh, here it is. And the weird thing that I found is that his latest job, his real name is Alex Peter, and his latest job, he's listed as a staff attorney for a New York nonprofit, but it's not named. But apparently he's a full-time staff attorney for some New York nonprofit that he doesn't name, and he's been working there for 8 months. Legal generalist for a New York-based nonprofit providing civil legal services to indigent clients. So indigent usually means like unhoused, I believe. But why can't he name the nonprofit? That is of interest to me. That is of interest to me. So I don't know who exactly he works for, but this feels weird. I've never seen someone not name the company they work for on LinkedIn, but we'll see what happens with that. Maybe he hasn't updated it. I forget to update that stuff. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. He doesn't profit. Yeah, the not-for-profit is just his life, apparently. My boyfriend has to put confidential on LinkedIn because they have a strict social media policy. Oh, interesting. Huh, okay. So maybe it is a confidential thing. I don't know. I've never heard of a confidential nonprofit or why you would need to be confidential if you're like helping people, but who knows? Who knows for real? Okay, so his name's Alex Peter. Let me pull up a picture of him as well. He is still open on Instagram. I'm not saying that for you guys to like go bother him, but I just wanted to get a picture of him. This guy here. Yeah, so he does a lot of kind of legal adjacent content on the internet, I guess. Talking about politics and things like that. So yeah, that's Alex. He is apparently good friends with Hasan. I'm not entirely sure the nature of their relationship, but I did find a really wild article, quote unquote, another Hasan sucking piece that someone wrote by him in early January. I will put this. I'll put this in the description as well. But I'll share it in chat as here for you now. Kate, you're literally doxing me. Yeah, so he wrote this article about Hasan. Waiting for Hasan. The revolution will not be streamed. The cuck Jew that sits silently when Hasan is blatantly spewing anti-Semitism in front of him. Okay, that's a lot. Let's be chill. That's not a nice way to put any of that. We can be critical without being like, I don't know, that feels weird to say it like that. So is he on the podcast? Thank you, Evie, for removing that comment. Hasan's friend from college was exposed for DRing someone. What? Send me a link for that. Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna read the intro, and then at the end there was something I wanted to talk about. This is the guy Ethan called a token Jew. I think so. I mean, okay, so I'm assuming he's Jewish, but I don't know how involved he is with Hasan stuff, but this kind of tells me a lot. All right, so first of all, I love this. Let us not waste our time in idle discourse. Let us do something while we have the chance. It is like literally Hasan's job to waste his time in idle discourse. I got you, Evie, no worries. But like, that's literally his job, bro, is to waste his time in idle discourse. So, let's read this. I hear his voice before I see him. The window to his studio is propped open, but he's so loud I imagine that I will still hear him, even if it was locked shut. This is how it is every time. My plane arrives late, or I lose track of time, or I find myself on the uncomfortable couch of a friend's rent-controlled apartment across town, though not for long, as he always, without fail, invites me to crash in his guest room. Wow! The benevolent millionaire streamer. I catch a ride over. This moment feels like a replication of my childhood in some way. Going between my father's house, in one of the most expensive zip codes on Long Island, to my single mom's place where my 3 sisters and our 2 cats and 2 dogs live crowded around a distinctly 80s styled kitchen. Wow. Just really fucking milking that. I don't understand how Hasan makes you think about your fucking quote-unquote broken home childhood, because Hasan Piker is rich. We gotta talk about Hasan being rich in the first fucking paragraph. He drives an electric Porsche that I personally dislike, but it does surprisingly have a lot of legroom. Are there different kinds of rich people? I think so. Yeah, I bet you do. I bet you think Hasan's a good one, right? Does it matter? Is Hasan a Che Guevara or a Vladimir Lenin? No, he isn't, and he doesn't claim to be. But undoubtedly, the pair, men I think about often when I look at myself in the morning mirror and lament my personal cowardice, came from a background of wealth and privilege, just like Hasan did. Often this is the case of the most revolutionary figures in history. Some of the most important among them were educated from a well-off background and at one point or another had life-altering experiences that led them down a path of no return. He's literally sweeping for Hasan being a fucking Nepo baby, right? He's just like Che Guevara. His parents are rich. I really thought this dude was gay, but then I see that he's like sending his dick to women. Maybe he's bisexual or pansexual. This is not to say, of course, that I believe Hasan will be camping out with gorillas in the Sierra Maestra anytime soon. Wait, but Alex, you forgot that he considered going to Gaza. But I would have loved to see him cackling with his infectious laugh while covering the news of the Bay of Pigs in real time. Ah! If only there were streamers during the Bay of Pigs. If only Hasan were alive and streaming during the fucking Bay of Pigs. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Okay, so then they interviews him. He has all these pictures of Hasan looking quote unquote hot and lifting weights and blah, blah, blah. There's so many pull quotes. Y'all just gotta read. I mean, this is like fucking dross. All right, so let's read the end, and then there is a piece here. Where is it? Oh, didn't he have a final question? Oh yeah, there it is. Okay. I'm just going to read this and then we'll talk about his final question. Hasan Piker may not be the revolutionary messiah some hope for, or the villain others paint him to be. Jesus fucking Christ. I hope he paid this guy for this. Kiss that ring, poor boy, right. It's like when I take my Honda Civic over to Hasan's mansion and he so graciously lets me crash in his dog bed. Like, what the fuck is this? He is, however, an accessible figure in an otherwise fractured left. Hasan is literally one of the reasons the left is as fractured as it is. He is literally one of the gatekeepers that is deciding who stays and who goes, who's in and who's out, who is pure enough and who isn't. Shonda Civic, shut the fuck up. A reminder that progress doesn't come from waiting for perfect leaders, but from leveraging imperfect moments in individuals to ignite collective action. Like, Hasan isn't perfect, guys. He isn't perfect. But he's super hot and super rich. And I know him. I sleep in his guest room. I know him. Hasan is a busy guy. His days are full of covering the news, exercise, and running around doing interviews. Wow, what a fucking busy day. He really knows the struggle of the working class life. I bet Hasan makes him drink tap water. He's not even hot. He's big and white. 100%, Alex. I do not understand it. We play swords together. He lets me hold the Nazi one. The resistance isn't perfect, and yet there's not enough room for liberals in the resistance because the liberals aren't perfect. The resistance can only be imperfect for someone like Hasan, right? That dude definitely sniffed Hasan's chair like Aiden did to Tate. So yeah, his audience, all right, when I come to visit, I often find myself waiting for him. On the couch, outside his studio, in the car while he finishes a call. Oh, it's a familiar feeling, isn't it? Is this about your fucking family again? Like his audience waiting for him to start his stream. Like all of us waiting for something to give in this chaotic, hopeless world. Barf! Oh my God. How does a person write this and publish it? This is so fucking embarrassing. Yes, this is LOL overruled. This is humiliating. But we shouldn't be waiting. Hasan isn't the answer. He's just one part of the equation. The real work, the uncomfortable, relentless, transformative work is waiting for us. But make sure you ask Hasan what that work looks like, because if you do it wrong, everyone's gonna fucking hate you and tell you you're not actually a leftist. In the end, we're not really waiting for Hasan. We're waiting for ourselves to get the courage to do the things we must do for a better future. Just because you're waking up and looking at yourself in the mirror and being ashamed of your cowardice doesn't mean anybody else is, bro. This is insane. If I'm a good boy, Hasan gives me belly rubs. Like, how do you write this, bro? How do you write this? Okay, and so this was the piece that really fucking annoyed me. Okay. Oh, wait, let's see. One final question. Oh my God. If you could replace one Twitch streamer with a famous revolutionary, who would it be and why? I mean, damn, I would bring back Lenin. Is that the only revolutionary you fucking know, Hasan? You think he could handle the chat? Yeah, fantastic communicator. I'd replace myself with Lenin. I also hate this. I hate this so much. Yeah, he says he would leave Twitch and let Lenin take his place because he was a great communicator. Okay, bro. I don't know if y'all knew this, but Lenin oversaw the Red Terror in Russia. It was a campaign of political repression and executions in Soviet Russia, which was carried out by the Bolsheviks, chiefly through the Cheka, which is like the secret police. And they killed all kinds of people. Where is it? Atrocities. The Cheka engaged in the widespread practice of torture. This is Lenin's special secret police. Depending on Cheka committees in various cities, the methods included being skinned alive, scalped, crowned with barbed wire, impaled, crucified, hanged, stoned to death, tied to planks and pushed slowly into furnaces or tanks of boiling water, or rolled around naked in internally nail-studded barrels. Chekists reportedly poured water on naked prisoners in the winter-bound streets until they became living ice statues. Others beheaded their victims by twisting their necks until their heads could be torn off. The Cheka detachments stationed in Kyiv, which Hasan would love to just be part of Russia again, would attach an iron tube to the torso of a bound victim and insert a rat in the tube closed off with wire netting while the tube was held over a flame until the rat began gnawing through the victim's guts in an effort to escape. Women and children were also victims of Cheka terror. Women would sometimes be tortured and R-worded before being shot. Children between ages of 8 and 13 were imprisoned and occasionally executed. So that's cool. So yeah, they were like the driving force behind the Red Terror, which happened after there were some assassination attempts on Lenin. So that's fucking cool. That is who Hasan would like to bring back. That is the revolutionary that Hasan would like to take his place on Twitch. So you can tell why he's doing the way, why he's streaming the way he streams, right? And platforming the things that he platforms. I mean, they're talking about hundreds of thousands of deaths under Lenin. And not, I mean, from torture and executions, also famine. What a guy. What a guy. He's such a wonderful, good person all the way down, isn't he? Just stroking it about bringing back a fucking terrorist, essentially, right? Insane. Okay, so let's talk about what's going on with LOLOverruled, the Hasan biographer, the unofficial biographer of Hasan Piker. There is a lot of stuff. LOLOverruled, apparently, according to a lot of women, has been very, very naughty and not in a good way. Specifically women within the Hasan Twitter community, the Has tweet, I think they call it. So that's cool. He has been reportedly, allegedly, using his proximity to Hasan to prey on Hasan's fans. And here is some of what these women are saying. So we have this person, Car Busted Open 420. Love that name. This is the one that Ethan posted on his story. She has since deactivated her account. People on Twitter are saying that Ethan's fans, H3 fans, are harassing her for coming out against this guy. I find that really hard to believe. I don't understand why we would be doing that. I just feel like Hasan and his butt kissers use that chat as their hunting ground. Well, it sure sounds like that now. Yeah, they're saying it's us. I don't understand why that would be. Okay, so there's that. She says, I posted a picture in... All right, so this is Hana Katana. I don't know a ton about her, but she has really great takes on this situation. Really enjoying her stuff on Twitter. I'm following her. We'll see how long it lasts, right? Because if she's... I don't think she's a Hasan fan, but I'm not sure. But I've really liked her takes today. So you'll see a lot of Hana Katana in these screenshots. So she posted, the girls are saying LOLOverruled is a sex pest and serial abuser. White cis men are fucking trash. Agreed. Remember, boys. Remember the disclaimer. Okay, so Carr says, I posted a picture in his merch. LOLOverruled has merch? Oh, that's fucking rash. Like, you were such a fan you bought his merch? Oh, that's really embarrassing. Let me see if I can find anything. Oh, because he went private, so I can't see his stuff. But like, why are we doing merch? Limited LOLOverruled never talk to cops shirt. Okay, this is what it looks like. This is one of the shirts. I don't know if he has more merch than this. It says never talk to cops. That's what your lawyer is for. I mean, yeah, sure. That seems like a good piece of advice, right? So I don't know if that's the shirt that she was wearing, but whatever it was, oh, that's for later. Whatever it was, he thought that it was so great. She must have just tagged him in the picture she posted of her merch, of her in his merch, and he sent her dick pictures, multiple, and asked for her STD results to make sure she's clean enough for we can imagine. Fuck that dude, she said. Like I said, she has shut down her account completely. To think that it's Ethan fans and H3 fans doing that is insane to me. I'm like, why would it be us and not this guy's fans trying to silence her? Cool guy activity. It's crazy. It's crazy. Okay, next one. Unfortunately, I have seen video evidence of him being a sex pest. He sent a video of himself jacking off in the bath to a sex worker friend he was DMing on Twitter. Apparently unconsensually he did that, non-consensually. Oh my God. Where can I read more? He's locked his account, and if you go through tweets made to his handle, it seems like his followers keep replying to a tweet he made that's likely said he's going offline. Okay, so we have that. What I know was shared through word of mouth, but I'm sure more people will be speaking out publicly. People have started to cut him off for his problematic behavior towards women. I assume that's why he went private. Okay, then we have a third woman. I know a content creator that about 6 other people I know have complaints about being a sexual creep to all of us. That is about him. She says that here. Oh, here it is. This is about LOL Overruled. She did like a whole series. So this is her. I mean, so that's 2 women who have, there's a woman with a personal experience, another one who saw him being gross to her friend, and then we have this woman saying that she knows 6 other women, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so that's 8. That's 8 women who have complained about this man being a sexual creep. Oh, all of us, that's 9, so she includes herself in this. And these are all fans of Hasan. At this point, what lady in Has tweet didn't get weird/creepy messages from Lolo, which I guess is what they call him? Because I know I did. That's 10. That's 10 people. A content creator threatened me, saying if they ever hurt me, I would be powerless because more people like them, and it would be so easy to call me a liar and ruin my life. Cool guy behavior for sure. Cool leftist abolitionist behavior. A content creator in the middle of mutual flirting said I didn't respond with nudes fast enough, so he went to my OF instead after making it a point that they didn't sub out of respect. That's also about him. Yeah, I don't want to sub to your OF out of respect. Oh, I didn't get to see your titties fast enough, so I'm gonna go look at them over there. Fuck you. This guy has problems. I guess this person blocked him, and then she continued. And he's a scumbag who used vanish mode on IG, so all those convos are gone. That is the shit a real predator does, in my opinion. Like, when you know to cover your tracks, that's crazy. Crazy. So here is some of the stuff that LOL Overruled has said, Mr. Alex Peter. These are just like a few little things because, like she said, he covered his tracks a lot. So all we have in general are the words of these women. And you won't believe it, men aren't trusting that. Leftist men aren't trusting that. But here is some stuff that Lolo said himself. This is, again, Hasan's good friend who sleeps in his guest room. I got to a point where I was fucking so many people from behind in my bed. I had an out-of-body experience, and I directly connected with Leonardo DiCaprio wearing his sound-canceling headphones as he bangs. Is that a thing that Leonardo DiCaprio does? Like, you know a lot about his sex habits. Leonardo DiCaprio sound noise canceling headphones. One of the most popular unconfirmed celebrity gossip stories is the rumor that during sex, Leonardo DiCaprio just lazily lays back and vapes while listening to MGMT on noise canceling headphones. Why do you know that? I love how loud your keyboard is. It always sounds like you're hacking. I'm hacking into the mainframe. I do type really, really distinctively, decisively. Fucking one of the hottest women you've ever seen in your life and feeling nothing. Wow, you're so Patrick Bateman. You're so cool. You're so Leonardo DiCaprio, bro. You're so awesome. This guy. Fucking the hottest woman you've ever met and feeling nothing. I'm so cool. Oh, Shaheem is hanging out with him. I am disappointed in that, but maybe Shaheem didn't know. I follow Shaheem on YouTube. I mean, on TikTok. Imagine fucking the hottest woman you've ever met and you just feel nothing. Imagine you feel nothing because you're so cool and you're so jaded from all of the sex you have. Like, grow up, bro. Have almost become a big enough person to let go of something a dickhead on here who some of you like and who I tolerate said to me 5 years ago. Pretty cool of me. Okay, cool story. This is the really gross one. This was recently in the middle of people being abducted, deported, sent to countries they've never been to. This is the joke that Mr. Lolo, Hasan's friend, Hasan's buddy, decided to go with. If you are a teenage boy, listen to me closely. ICE agents are the reason you cannot get a girlfriend. What does he mean by that? Because they're deporting all the Latinas, the big booty Latinas. That's what he meant by this. I am so fucking sick of leftist men trying to reach teenage boys using the tools of misogyny. I am so fucking sick of that. Like, you don't have to stoop to their level. You don't have to speak their fucking language to that degree. That you are trivializing the experience of Latina women who are almost certainly being sexually assaulted in ICE custody. Latina women and children. Almost guaranteed. But yeah, let's try and get some teenage boys to hate ICE because they're deporting all the spicy Latinas. This is like fucking was it Comrade Casey talking about the bodacious hijabis? Like, these people are not free of misogyny. They talk about rebuilding the system. They can't even fucking deprogram their own internalized patriarchy and white supremacy. Disgusting. Fucking disgusting. So then apparently he blocked this person who said, I hate white leftists. It's all a joke. So this is someone, I mean, they're using that the Hamas thing, right? So this is someone who's pretty, pretty deep in the online leftist, I'll call it a cult, which is interesting that they have this as their profile picture. But they said, I hate white leftists. It's all a joke in their desperate need to be as popular as right online media figures. They're chasing fame 1,000%. And they're using the same tactics because they're all trying to be popular with fucking children. Like, how embarrassing are you? How fucking embarrassing are you, man? So he blocked this person and they were upset by that. But like, dude, of course he did. Okay, so now we know the accusations, some of them. I'm sure there will be more because where there's smoke, there's fire. And where there's fire, there's a bigger fire. We've seen the accusations. We have seen a smattering of the way that this guy talks publicly, right? And we've heard about the way he talks privately. And now, like I said, you'll never believe it, but leftist men are doing something very, very unrevolutionary and very predictable. And they're asking for more evidence before they believe these women. We counted at least 10. At least 10 women have come out saying shit about this man. And that's not enough. Right? All right, let's see what's happening. So this is where Katana really goes off, and I love it. So she says, she said this back in April. She said, protecting abusers is more convenient than protecting survivors because rape culture and fascism work together to ensure this. 100%, 100,000%. So now, apparently, as a result of this tweet, people are starting to block her. Also over her outing, or like her part in raising the awareness about what Lolo did. Also, I don't like calling him Lolo. Isn't that the name for grandfather in Filipino, in Tagalog? So yeah, so her mutuals, people she follows back, right, are starting to block her because she has boosted the experiences of these women who are alleging to have been sexually harassed by LOLOverruled Alex Peter, one of Hasan's friends, right? All these leftist men are starting to block her. So she had this to say, and I really loved this statement. I think it really, it encapsulates how I feel about the problem of misogyny on the left and the need to suck out that poison to actually get free, right? And to have real lasting liberation. And so she says, protecting abusers is more convenient than protecting survivors because rape, all right, so she said that in the other one. Speaking out against abusers is met with hostility instead of compassion, and calling out bigotry is met with accusations of sowing division instead of being recognized as legitimate anti-fascist resistance because of rape culture. That's because men do not think rape culture, I'm speaking specifically about leftist men here, they do not think that rape culture and sexism are a big enough deal to take up any space under the leftist tent. And isn't that convenient for them, right? Let's not talk about those things because maybe I have some skeletons in my closet. In my opinion, all abuse is systemic, 100%. There are systems at play that make interpersonal abuse and looking the other way convenient, even profitable. There are systems that make it so people can use their privileges to get away with abusing marginalized people without ever facing any accountability. Like the system of internet fame, the privilege of proximity to the most famous leftist commentator on the internet. That's going to give you a lot of access and a pretty steep power imbalance with these women. Speaking of, rape and abuse are about power dynamics, and systems of oppression give us power over one another. These systems of oppression can only exist as long as people are willing to uphold them and abuse the privileges given to them by those systems. I mean, take this out, and this is exactly what they're talking about with Israel-Palestine, with economic discrimination, right? The systems of oppression. But for some reason, they have this blind spot where they can't apply it to sexual harassment and sexual assault. For some reason, they're leftist until they hit a friend who's been accused of SA. Defeating fascism without ending rape culture is impossible. We must do both. 1,000,000%. So shout out Katana for that. How many people will it take to come forward about Alex before y'all believe them? Have you really not seen enough? Well, we've seen at least 10, right? We have seen at least 10. And then this person says, basically every woman on left Twitter is saying he was DMing some sex pest shit to them. I don't think anyone can deny it at this point. Oh, but they are. But they are. And then I said, we need a leftist collective where cis white men aren't allowed. Because we do. All right, so here are some people that are kind of downplaying it. This fucking asshole. Jewish man outed as sexual predator. World shocked. And so she says, are you a Nazi? Why take the focus away from the actual problem by being anti-Semitic? You're not helping anyone. Well, they're helping the patriarchy, right? They're helping rape culture by doing that because they're saying, oh, well, obviously a Jewish person did that. And so we don't need to be worried about it. It's not like a systemic thing in the leftist community because we hate most Jews, right? And this is just more proof for the reasons that we should. So we don't need to talk about this one guy, right? He's an outlier. He's an aberration. Except he's not the only one that we're talking about tonight. Okay, but I just wanted to show this. This person reshared this post. Eternity Sea ship crew being treated to a traditional Yemeni dinner paid for by the military during their temporary stay under Yemeni protection. These are the hostages that the Houthis took on the Eternity Sea ship. These are the Filipino hostages. This is the kind of shit that this person is sharing. But there's definitely not an anti-Semitism problem. And supposed leftists would not be doing this if Hasan wasn't running defense for the Houthis. It does circle back to him. Because who else has platformed the Houthis to such a large degree? Straight propaganda, yes. And this is a scene from a whole propaganda video that they compiled and put out to be like, we're treating everyone great. Kill the Jews, right? So like, this is what we're dealing with. These are the people that are trying to act like they are the source of leftist wisdom. Okay, so then this weird girl got so close to the point it almost hit her in the face. She starts kind of sweeping for Alex Lolo, and she says, "Let me start naming every Has tweet member who DM'd me their hog. There's plenty." Girl, that shouldn't be happening. Girl, what is your point? That shouldn't be happening to you. Yeah, so what? I see random guys' dicks all the time that I don't want to see. Grow up. Like that sounds like when like Me Too started happening and women in their like 60s, like boomers, were like, "Oh, come on. I used to get my ass pinched at work all the time." It's like, Mom, that is sexual assault. No. Yeah, so what? So what? We're all getting dicks. Men are doing this to me like all the time. Girl, you are so close to the point. So this person says, I mean, I think that's bad too. And she said, clearly not enough to continue to be like, but actually this is bad. What? That doesn't even fucking make sense. So she's just like, I'm not going to complain about it. That doesn't mean it's not a terrible thing. All right, here's the next one. Why spread it if we don't know it's true? I'm so disappointed that this is a woman, especially when someone's in a mental health care right now. Entirely my point. It's a woke mob. The left is using the term woke mob unironically now. It's a witch hunt. It's another witch hunt. But this time it's against men who actually did something wrong and not women who definitely were not fucking witches. It's the same exact thing. I'm gonna be so fucking real when I say I don't give a fuck and it's none of our business. What branch of leftism is leading a woke mob when someone's in psychiatric care? We'll get into that. The woke mob? This is crazy. What a take to have. What a take to have in public. I fear that people have forgotten that you are allowed to have bad takes. You're also allowed to, like, not post them on the internet. Right? You're allowed to have, like, inside thoughts. You do not need to share every single one.
Madam Femme gave $2. Drag them, Kate. Peace sign emoji. Purple
Thank
heart emoji.
you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm dragging away. It costs $0 for them to tweet any of that. And it's also free to shut the fuck up, right? Like, why would you say that stuff? Why would you defend him like that? Okay. Here's another one, and I checked. Luckily, this person does not follow Hasan. This one up here, Mr. Pussy. They said, I don't trust. Mail. Oh my gosh, another one. Oh, thank you, Clay. Thank you, Clay. That's so kind. I don't trust anyone who tries to build little internet cults around themselves. And I was like, I hope that you are thinking about Hasan when you say that. Am I wrong to think that the way someone dehumanizes children is an indication of their morals? No. What exactly are you getting at? Who's dehumanizing children? Did I miss something? Okay, so then here she is again, just really popping off here. Even if it's like assault or harassment, at worst, he sent a non-consensual nude. I've sent my tits to Savvy. Arrest me. First of all, oh, God damn it, Alex.
Got mail.
Alex_the_fiction gave $2. Sorry, Kate. Raised fist emoji. Raised hand emoji.
I hate you.
Raised fist emoji. Raised hand emoji. Raised fist emoji. Raised hand emoji. Raised fist emoji. Raised hand emoji. Raised fist emoji.
I feel like there were more than that, but thank you. Thank you. You little shit. Oh, yeah, okay. So, like, what I was going to say, Stavi. I feel like with Stavi, he talks so much about loving boobs and receiving boobs that feels like almost like implicit consent, right? Like, that is not the same as sending your dick to someone you've never met who has not expressed an interest in seeing your dick or anyone else's, right? But in general, yeah, it's not okay to just send your tits to someone. It's not okay. And also, no one's talking about arresting anyone. Like, this is so fucking rape culture coded, right? Of like, he didn't do it. It's not like he got arrested. If he did it, he would have been arrested. It's like, that's not a fucking thing. That's not how it works. He doesn't need to get arrested for it to be proven that it was wrong and that he did something wrong. To be fair, boobs shouldn't have to be covered up. I mean, yeah, sure. But at this point, it is something that is covered up, right? Okay, then we have this. The LOL overruled situation is a direct result of leftists constantly shutting down conversations regarding misogyny and sex work. 1,000%. I mean, I think back to the early days of Hasan online when I knew him from like the Young Turks, and I vividly remember even like during the primary where it was like Elizabeth Warren versus Bernie Sanders. So of course he fucking hated Elizabeth Warren and got all of his shitty fucking listeners to attack people like me who were hoping we get our first progressive woman president. Because for some reason we weren't pure enough, right? And his big problem with Elizabeth Warren and also other Democrats is that they were talking too much about abortion. Like abortion was important. But really, to him, abortion was just a women's issue, and it was just identity politics used for pandering. And look where we are now. Look where we are. Abortion is important. It's important to like half the fucking population. And if you are someone who is just only trying to talk about economics, which I think is so fucking narrow-minded, it is a huge economic issue for women. Having children keeps you from getting fucking promoted at work, taking better jobs because you have to worry about childcare. Like, it's all economic, but you're so fucking misogynist that you don't think about it that way because it doesn't impact you. So yeah, then I saw this meme. Just saw the LOL overruled stuff. Never ask a woman her age, a man his salary, a leftist man if they think misogyny is a serious issue. 100%. Oh, look, this is back in October 2024. This is another thing Lolo said about thick Latinas. Running on opening the border to let in as many thick Latinas as possible. So this person remembered it. She screenshotted it back then and said, this tweet is from October 2024, but I remember screenshotting it. Ooh, hang on one sec. Because it was so fucking gross. Honestly, the stuff coming out against LOL overruled should not be surprising to me, but it's incredibly disappointing. And this is why we say, ladies, no male faves, no male faves, no male faves, no male faves. You will not be let down if you stop putting your trust and your faith in men. It's just good odds. It's just good odds. Just err on the side of caution and have lady faves. Because having male faves, I mean, just yeah, the casino odds alone, the Vegas odds are stacked against you. You know? All right, so like I said, there has been some sweeping for Mr. Lolo, specifically in a subreddit that you might have heard about. Okay, and I just want you to look at this and think about these comments and the fact that they could be on any conservative subreddit, right? Talking about, you know, the latest conservative to be accused of SA or some other kind of sexual violence. So first of all, they decide to blame Ethan. That is the top post. I'm sorting these by top. I would approach any accusations that Ethan is promoting with skepticism. So because Ethan has shared this, it means that these women are lying. If we get more independent corroborating info, so not the women themselves, not firsthand accounts. Is that not good enough? Is that what we mean here? I'm kind of confused. Not that I don't believe anyone, but I read the thread linked in the comments and I don't see anyone coming forward. Just someone saying someone else said he did something. But I'm still not clear what. Does anyone have links to someone discussing this more in depth? Okay. He recently posted that he was checking into an intensive outpatient for mental health issues. So I wonder if this is related. Fucking sweeping for that shit. Apparently he's talked about having a sex addiction, which is something I'm sure a lot of people genuinely struggle with. But I do see a lot of people using their sex addiction as an excuse. Okay, we love that. Good. People are saying person is bad. No one should care about this until actual accusers or evidence comes out. We need evidence. The thing about rape and sexual assault and sexual abuse and sexual harassment is that a lot of times it's purposely done in a way that there is no evidence because people don't want to be caught. Okay? The nice thing was this post. that I think they might have been posted on the H3 subby. Hey guys, we really need to tighten up because a lot of these comments just aren't it. This isn't just 1 or 2 women posting in these threads. Also, if it was 1 or 2 women, they should still be believed. This is several voices saying that they've heard stories of him being a sex pest going back years in some cases. If your first thought is how a person can weaponize this against you and your causes, instead of immediate sympathy for the people coming out with stories of being abused by someone they potentially admired and looked up to, you really, really, really need an immediate reality check and a priority shift. Don't be so fucking selfish. Like, don't know how any of this is problematic for Hasan. Well, I mean, it's his friend. And also, the guy literally, allegedly preyed on Hasan's community. For those of you who see this, this is why you need to have real lefty friends so you all can be fucking normal like Hasan begs of you every other day. If everybody was normal, they wouldn't fucking listen to you, Hasan. You wouldn't have an audience. So yeah, I mean, people are trying to play devil's advocate. They keep making it about Hasan and Ethan in here. This thread is a mess. People are victim blaming. So yeah, as you can imagine, a lot of people, mostly men, but again, we saw that woman talking about how it's not really a big deal. It happens to me all the time. A lot of people are sweeping for this guy, which is fucking crazy. Of course, Mr. Shobahu got his fingers into this and had to make it about Ethan as well. So someone said, is this LOL overruled shit just the tweets or is there something else? And then he said, there is much more. It was confirmed, but the person deactivated because Ethan attacked her on his story. I still do not see the line there. And she doesn't want to deal with it. LOL overruled sent her a dick pic completely randomly. Like, just gotta pull focus. Just gotta pull focus. All right, so here is what LOL overruled said 2 days ago before he went private and all this other shit. Not ready to talk about it all yet, but there are things I want to talk about and have been mulling over how to even do it or if I should in public. I am, however, in the midst of an intensive outpatient therapy program, which is good. I don't know when I'll be back. Yeah, I bet, bro. I fucking bet you don't know when you'll be back. Thank you, Chunk Rock. I love your name. So he said this before any of this even came out. So I wonder if there were discussions behind the scenes. And then he also posted this. This is his full apology that I believe was then deleted. But let's read through this. This is not my full apology and it isn't meant to be. I still need some time to figure out how to do that and what that looks like. There's a lot being said about my behavior. I am absolutely embarrassed and ashamed of myself in many instances and have been a real asshole. Okay. Have you also been a sex pest? I don't deny that at all. I know many people are disappointed and I am disappointed in myself. I have hurt people emotionally and I regret it immensely. I cannot believe that this fucking guy has any kind of platform. Like the fact that he has the power and the position to hurt people. We are, as a whole, the internet, we are platforming and raising up the wrong fucking people. Oh, here we go. I do want to clarify some things. I do want to sweep for myself a little bit. Yes, I have slid into a lot of people's DMs. I think I didn't really think of it as a huge deal, but it's clear I did not fully grasp how some people could feel about that. It's not about sliding in their DMs, it's about sending your dick to people. How some people could feel about that or even think I was some kind of famous person, which I have never honestly felt about myself. Trust me, bro, you shouldn't. And always felt like a random internet side character. This is so Colleen and James Charles coded, both of them Remember when they came out about this stuff, the stuff going on with them and the grooming and the underage kids and all that shit? Both of them were like, I'm just a loser. I'm just a dork. I don't know. Like, I didn't think it was serious because, like, who would like me? It's the same fucking groomer ass tone of just being like, oh, shucks. Little old me. I was just a loser. I was just an outcast. I never had any friends. I'm desperate, right? It's all that same, like, groomer fawning. It's bullshit. It's a lie because he literally talked about wondering why he doesn't have a wiki yet, and people underestimate how relevant he is. Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, I'm not a groomer. I'm just a loser. That's the line from Colleen. No, I did not send photos unsolicited. Well, that's you calling these women liars. It may have been the case in some instances that I genuinely misread the conversation we were having, but no, I didn't just randomly send something. If you are... Why can't you as men wait to be asked for a picture instead of assuming you're reading the vibe right? Because it seems like most of you cannot read the vibe. So why don't you wait until a girl is like, show me your dick? And if she doesn't say that, I'm sorry, like, go jerk off. Who fucking cares? But, like, I don't understand I mean, that's the way the conversation was going, so I just thought I'd fucking throw it out there. That's, like, insane to me, to send someone an unsolicited picture. Like, I don't think this guy understands what the word unsolicited means. It means she didn't ask for it. It doesn't mean that you read the room improperly. It means she didn't ask for it. It was unsolicited. So yes, you did, according to these women, send unsolicited dick pictures. I didn't just randomly send something. Okay, even if a girl is having like a flirty conversation with you, that is not license or consent to send them a picture of your fucking naked mole rat. Okay? Get consent. It's not fucking hard. No, I have not threatened anyone. I saw something to that effect being said. Oh, that was about the woman that said that you said if you hurt her, no one would believe her because you're more popular than she is. I do believe some of what's being said is genuinely libel and defamation. Oh my God. It's also entirely possible that there were miscommunications and conversations misread. I don't know. I must have just misread it when I said that I would fucking destroy her. I didn't do any of this shit. I'm gonna go play Fortnite. Fuck you all. Yeah, like these people are the same ones that are like, oh, Ethan's abusing the legal system and, you know, he's gonna get hit with an anti-slap and blah, blah, blah. And then they are the first ones to talk about defamation. Like, it's also happening with another person that we're gonna see after this. Another person is trying to gather information to try and, like, go after Ethan now for defamation. So it's just more threats. Like, you say you didn't threaten someone, and then you literally... There we go. Then you literally start threatening, saying that people are being libelous or defamatory. I take full responsibility for making people uncomfortable. You clearly don't. You're talking about misreading it, not fully grasping, like, I'm just dumb. I'm just a dumb baby. I don't know. Here's my pee-pee. Look at my pee-pee. Why don't you want to see my pee-pee? Everyone wants to see my pee-pee. How fucking old is this guy? Again, this is not meant to be an exhaustive apology. It really isn't. Well, that's good because it is a really poopy shit apology. I am sorry to the people I've made uncomfortable or hurt emotionally. I know it doesn't matter to some of you now, but I am glad this stuff is being talked about in a way. Oh, you're such a fucking martyr. It's forcing me to actually look at myself hard in the mirror. You don't need to be looking at yourself hard at all. Okay? Put your dick away and do something about it. I'm going to be pretty offline for a bit doing an intensive outpatient program. I would bet $250 that he is doing therapy once a week and calling that an intensive outpatient program. Yeah, it just says an outpatient program. But I'm like, okay, that feels like you're going to therapy once a week. That's outpatient. For a man, that probably feels like outpatient. Yeah. Structured mental health assistance once a week. PP pics are like the biggest turnoff in the world, too. Say it louder for the men in chat. He's definitely not offline, probably on an alt and going to therapy once a week. Exactly. So, yeah, that was what he had to say about that. Oh, wait. There's another piece. I don't know what will happen next. I may never come back to the internet in the same capacity again. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed, bro, because you fucking suck. I only found out about you today, and I hope I never hear about you again. I don't know. I want to do better, and I genuinely want to make amends to the people I've negatively impacted. I hope, well, then just stay off the internet, probably. I don't think they want to be in spaces with you anymore. I hope some people will give me the opportunity to do that. I do not expect it at all, but I am always available to listen and talk if anyone wants that. Ugh. I don't want to be a piece of shit guy. I have been. I think the way I have acted has not been in line with my character. It is your character. We have like 10 women now who have talked about you. So can we stop being like, this isn't me. It is you. It is you. You are a piece of shit guy. You can change that. But we'll see what you're actually made of, right? Does not reflect the kind of man I want to be. I am seeking help to better myself. I am sorry it took so long. Well, we're just so glad that something positive is coming out of this for you, right? We're so glad that these women could be the sacrifices on the altar of your humanity, and that now you're finally getting help. Accountability is a weird thing. Don't start musing. We already saw enough of that in your fucking Substack. Accountability is a weird thing. You really can only take about accountability for yourself. If you want to pretend something isn't a problem, you can try and weather any storm that comes and pretend it isn't real. I don't want to be that way. In the very least, I would like to show what accountability can look like. Really cannot express how sorry I am to all. It's always interesting to see people apologizing only because they got caught, right? It's how do you do this to maybe a dozen women, allegedly, right? That we know about, and you haven't felt bad enough to try and make up for it until you personally got called out. As we've been watching Trump be, sued for his own sexual assault allegations. We're seeing all the Jeffrey Epstein stuff. We've seen the Me Too movement. We've seen the Time's Up movement. You've seen all of this. You've seen thousands of women coming forward bravely to talk about things. And at no point did you have the self-reflection to decide to change. No, you had to wait until you got caught because you thought that you could get away with it. You thought that you could prey on Hasan's audience and be a fucking creep, and that they wouldn't say anything because you were Hasan's friend and they didn't want to be potentially on the outs with Hasan or his community. That's fucking gross. That is your character right now. That is who you are. So I hope you're doing more than a once a week therapy appointment and calling it outpatient, whatever you called it. Intensive outpatient program. I really hope you are doing that. I suggest an intensive inpatient program, brother. With no phone. No access to your phone. Yeah, intensive outpatient feels... Intensive no patient. Intensive outpatient feels a little bit like an oxymoron. Because how intensive can it be if you like go home after a couple hours or even an hour? I feel like that behavior is being greenlit from somewhere. I mean, he's clearly been an opportunist. And I do have Hasan's response, which apparently is very good. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm glad for that. I'm glad that Hasan is being strong on that. And here's hoping that now that this has happened, Hasan finally learns how to moderate his communities, right? The poor guy couldn't figure it out in time to not let his audience be horrifically anti-Semitic to Ethan and Neela. Here's hoping he's figured it out before his community turns on the women in these groups and gets disgusting and misogynistic about it. One last little thing. Do you guys remember how Taylor Lorenz was going after Ethan for being like a rabid misogynist, and how she called air conditioning sexist, and has really like is very focused on the cause of misogyny, specifically when it comes to people she disagrees with? Well, guess what? Guess who's still following Alex Peter? It's Taylor Lorenz. Taylor Lorenz, who is terminally on Twitter, so there's no chance she doesn't know about this, is still following LOLOverruled on Instagram, potentially on Twitter too, but their followers are hidden, so you can't see that. Yeah, her AC argument, I said, is fucking fat phobic. It's like fat erasure too. And also ageist, right? Yeah, because older women in perimenopause also need the air conditioning. Yeah, her AC take, she had this tweet about like industrial air conditioning in office buildings is sexist, and it caters to men who are bigger and sweatier than we are, or like some crazy shit like that. It's like, girl, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm fat as hell. I need AC every day. Hasan's response was good, but I still didn't think it was genuine given his current friend group. Given his current friend group still has accused essayers in it. Well, let's watch it together. Where is his response? Okay, here it is. We'll watch it. We'll watch it together, and we'll see what we think about it. And listen, like I've said from the beginning, I am here in good faith, right? I am not a Hasan fan, but if he is standing up against predators in his audience and in his friend group, that's good, and he should be doing that, right? I'm not here to just like pick this apart and find every problem with it necessarily. But I mean, let's talk about it from a feminist lens. Let's see how he does. Okay.
If it's
let me put my headphones back on. Sorry. It is getting hot in these rhinos. How much more do I have to do on here? Ugh. I don't really want to talk about Shobahu tonight. This will probably be the end. We can talk about Shobahu on fucking Wednesday. Good faith, love ya, but you are far from good faith, honey bunny. What the fuck are you talking about? I can admit when people are right and when people I like are wrong. What the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck do you mean? All right. Let me just blow this up here. Okay. And action.
If it's related to Alex Lolo, then that's not drama. That's like straightforward creep shit. Okay?
Love that.
If that's what you guys are referencing as drama, you're a psycho. That's not drama at all. I mean, this dude apparently was all up and down being a fucking pest. And
Okay.
It's completely unacceptable.
Okay.
Yeah. And you guys are being fucking ridiculous if you think that this is just drama. That's not just drama, dude. That's like, that is, yeah. It's incredibly disappointing.
Is he sick? I feel like he might be sick. It seems, yeah, his voice seems like deeper than even usual. Okay.
It's not something that I was obviously privy to. I was completely oblivious to whatever the fuck was going on, and it's a...
In this case, I believe him, right? Like, when it comes to the chat stuff and the other stuff that he's, like, kept his hands clean on, I don't necessarily believe that. I think he does some, like, plausible deniability and lets other people, like, take the heat on things that he likes having done, right? And maybe it's not... maybe it's more implicit than explicit, right? He's not telling people to do things, but they know they're doing it to seek his approval, right? I don't think that's the case here. I think that this guy was a predator and Hasan didn't know it, and this guy saw an opportunity to get close to somebody who had a lot of adoring female fans, right? And he saw that as an opportunity to, you know, pick on these women.
You've got mail.
Alex_the_fiction gave $5. Get a plugin or something to make his voice not make me cringe?
Honestly, I'm here for making fun of men's voices because men make fun of women's voices all the time. So when we are in this space, we can make fun of men's voices. But yeah, so I believe that Hasan is being genuine here. I don't think that he had any idea that this stuff was happening. I know that if things were reversed and one of Ethan's good friends, like Jimmy Lee, right? Jimmy Lee essentially did something a little bit like this, but not as, it seems like it wasn't as widespread. If that came out today, in the midst of all of this, you just know that snarkers would be like, Ethan was probably grooming these girls for him, blah, 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 right? I'm not doing that because I don't believe that. And I don't think that they would believe that either, right? I'm glad that Hasan is saying this. I'm glad that he's being very direct about it and he's not pussyfooting around. I think he's saying here that that's disappointing. Let's just watch the rest of this.
Whatever the fuck was going on, and it's a betrayal of my trust.
100%. I love that. That's great. I think that was a great apology. Well, not an apology. It was a great acknowledgement of what was going on.
Confirmation bias gave $2. I don't make fun of women's voices. I'm an empath.
Oh God. There was a moment, and I think some of y'all pointed it out, of Hasan saying, what was it? He said, wait, hang on, I have the clip. Here it is. I'm getting the hang of this shit, guys. I am getting the hang of it. So yeah, he said this to a chatter. I mean, I'm assuming that she was joking around with him, but it's also like a dumb, misogynistic, stupid thing to say, and he shouldn't have said it. But like, this is the kind of like passive sexism and passive misogyny that I'm not saying leads to things happening like with Alex, but it might have made Alex feel like he was safe in this environment. You know, that there was room for being kind of a perv and kind of creepy with girls. Because Hasan says stuff like this to female chatters.
Hasan, you're a terrorist, but at least you're good looking. Thank you for saying that, I guess. Like,
shouldn't have said it.
We don't have elections.
Shouldn't have said it.
I'm gonna terrorize your pussy.
Like, should not have said that. Should not have said that. The chatter wasn't even female? Like, you see him almost not say it, and then he says it. And, like, I mean, Ethan has that same problem, right? Where he's like, oh, I really want to say it, but I don't want to. But, like, woof. But this is what I mean. Like, this is, like, this, like, it's, like, ironic, toxic masculinity that I think has more of an impact than maybe these guys imagine, right? Like, they say this stuff potentially in jest, but it's kind of edgelordy, and it does attract people who genuinely think that stuff is funny without irony, right? I just hate that. And based on, like, the stuff that I've, oh my God, past 250 viewers, holy shit. Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here. Make sure you subscribe. Thank you. Yeah, we need more sincerity and less irony from men on the left. I totally agree with that. Like, that's the thing. Like, you think you're being ironic. Like when Ethan had the SJW arc, right? I think a lot of it was him exaggerating how he felt about it and being ironic, but it still attracted an audience of young men who don't understand irony, right? And so there are young men in this audience seeing Hasan say this shit to women, right? And they look up to him and they think that you can be leftist and say shit like this. Like, you can separate leftism from feminism and from misogyny and from respecting people, right? Like, you can still make these gross jokes. Would he make that joke in a room full of women? I don't know. Yeah, tons of clueless fans that don't get irony. And you have to, like, you have to kind of prepare for that, right? You kind of have to prepare for the fact that people are not going to fully understand what you're doing. And also, it's hard to believe that there isn't, like, a nugget of truth in there, right? Where he's still, like, posturing and doing all this, like, weird bro shit because it's something he wants to be doing. And it's part of the persona he wants to put forth. Well, it didn't sound like a joke because he's terrible at telling jokes. Exactly. Irony and satire require a more delicate hand than people afford it. 100%. Yeah, it's very edgelordy. It doesn't have the delicacy, the nuance that's needed for this kind of thing. And yeah, you also have to, not just as someone who's doing the irony and the satire, but, like, the audience that's receiving it also kind of has to be pretty intelligent for it, right? It's like how people used to read Tom Sawyer. And even recently, like, they've read Tom Sawyer or Huckleberry Finn and they have found it really offensive, right? But they're not understanding that Mark Twain was speaking in satire, right? Like, he was kind of lampooning the idea of what it means to be civilized, because all of these people complaining about being civilized and acting polite in society have slaves, are enslaving people, right? So if people don't understand and can't read irony, then the irony's lost and it doesn't make sense, and then you just look like a fucking misogynist. Literature time, let's go. I was thinking that maybe this winter, when I have members, because I'm hoping we'll hit 10K before the winter, that we can do, like, a reading challenge with prizes for members. Or is that so stupid and nerdy and you guys would never do that and you want me to kill myself? Because I miss the feeling, I know, I'm just totally, like, switching gears right now. I miss the feeling of, like, recording all the books I read. Oh my God, and I could, like, put something up in my office showing all the books that we've read together. Alex, you can do audiobooks. My wife does those. Yeah, like a summer reading club, but in the fall. Yes. Yes, I would love to do that. Oh, thank you, Witch. But you know what I mean? Like, I loved that feeling of like recording all your books and like putting them up in the classroom or going to the library and recording them and getting your little prize. Oh yeah, my wife does the sped up books too. Okay, so that's something that I have on the back burner. But yeah, so I think that Hasan's response was good. I hope that this moment is a real consciousness raising for leftist women, for feminist leftists. I hope that more women are seeing the issue that exists on the left with the men that we are deciding that some people are deciding have the say over what it means to be a leftist, and how they are erasing or omitting issues that impact women specifically, and also are relegating women to the sidelines or seeing them as some sort of accessory, or talking about us or degrading us in leftist spaces. Like, I really genuinely think we need to have a feminist leftist mini revolution, not like guillotines and stuff, but just like in the discourse, right? Like, we need to stop acting like talking about women is just identity politics, when courting the white young Christian male gamer vote is not considered identity politics, right? So I'm hopeful, because I've seen it in these women that are outraged about what happened with Alex. I have seen them getting really, really close to the point and talking about the fact that the left is not immune to this stuff, right? And so I'm hopeful that there will be more of an audit of leftist men who need to be held accountable. Maybe this will kick off like a small Me Too about these people, and that needs to happen, because like Katana said in one of her tweets, we can't reach true liberation. We can't have a real revolution if we are still trafficking in misogyny and oppressing women. This is why Hasan collabs with female gaming streamers like Valkyrae. Women in feminism should not be relegated to being a prop for them to make themselves look better. Exactly. And that's another piece of it, is that these men across the spectrum, but we're talking about leftist men because those are the men that I want to be better. I don't expect more from Republicans and conservatives. I don't. And I shouldn't, because they've shown me over and over again that they are demons, right? These men tend to talk about sexual assault only when they can use it to smear a man that they don't like. So they'll talk about destiny and sex pestiny and all that shit, right? They'll talk about that. But they won't ever talk about allegations that women are making, if they're making them against someone that they like or someone that they don't really know or care about, right? They never really bring it up. And then we have the whole issue of like rape denial in general, which I've talked about, right? Like saying that Hamas didn't essay people both on October 7th and in captivity is crazy. Not because Palestinians are animals that do that kind of thing, but that men everywhere essay women. Like, I am certain IDF people are actively essaying Palestinians in captivity, right? It happens everywhere, especially during a war. It's seen as like disgusting collateral damage, and it's part of like conquering a people. It has been used as a tactic of war since the beginning of time. So to be obtuse about it and say that, oh, this one group of people, this one terrorist group definitely didn't essay people is stupid. It's just stupid. So I hope that men will talk more about essay and its implications on the movement, in ways where it doesn't feel like they are just using the victims to get one up on people. That is shit that I don't enjoy. They talk like they want to be better, but they don't walk the walk. Exactly. It's a lot of lip service right now, especially when it comes to women. The Hasan brand of leftism only cares about non-white male struggle if they can wear it like a Palestinian scarf. Yeah, I think there's a lot of putting on a costume for their own benefit, right? And that's not necessarily true for everybody, but I think that does happen. Essay of Jews is said to be the reason that Judaism is traditionally inherited from mothers, not fathers. Interesting. I didn't know that. Wow. I gotta look into that. That's interesting. Heard a little rumor, not sure how true it is, but I heard Hasan was in a relationship with Valkyrie and maybe dating her. I have no information on that at all. No information at all. All right, everybody. That is it for me. I will be back on Wednesday for another H3 after party. And yeah, I think that is gonna do it for me. I hope you all have a wonderful evening. And I will see you on Wednesday night. Make sure if you're still here that you're liking and subscribing. Like I said, when I hit 10,000 members, we're going to do a membership. It's going to be super easy. It's going to be affordable. It's going to be one tier and you get everything. I have lots of ideas already of ways that we can make things fun and keep the community growing. So thank you all for being here and I will see you next time. Bye.